contextualize what they did for the Tayed with their larger, work, their body of work that they have so far. So where or how does your print fit, or not, because it might not, especially with yarn bonding, I want to know how that works. Where does it fit into what you've been doing? We'll start with Rocky.
So, my piece, I wanted to combine crochet work that I do with the drawing that I do when I'm not crocheting. I do a lot of drawings. So I wanted to create one piece that united both those elements in my artwork. And I chose to do something more of a 2D tapestry, because in a lot of cultures there is some form of tapestry that tells a story. And for me, my piece is more of an homage to the sheep. I chose a Navajo churro sheep. It's sacred to the Navajo peoples. It's very unique. It has 4 horns, and you could use the wool, of course, to make yarn. And for me, my piece is honoring the sheep. This Navajo sheep in particular is something my husband and I found upon research. We wanted to have expand our garden and start farming. This is a sheep that we really wanted to have, and it's very sacred. So this is something very special to me. This is what my piece is about, at least for me.
So just to, I looked at Navajo rug designs, and so was very familiar with the sheep. But I was very drawn to the early Navajo rugs, which are just mostly really abstract, just horizontal lines of color, and I was mostly just drawn to that. Mostly because with what I do, working with video and film, I'm working within a timeline. When things are digitized, it's, video is either interlaced or not. I mean, it was something that for me, I was more drawn to the abstraction, and with my work, I mostly referenced film. The way that I set up the print, it's 2 images on top of each other. It looks at the hidden nature of film. A film strip is an image upon an image upon an image, stacked upon top of each other. And because of the way that it projects, our eye only picks up the one image. And so I was thinking about film throughout the whole time. Within the structure of the piece as well, I was interested in zooming in and zooming out, and the way that I decided to make the design was that I took an image of an old photograph, just took a horizontal image, horizontal piece, and I enlarged it and enlarged it, and so there's sort of a stacking that occurs, and then there's a vertical piece that I also enlarge. So I zoom in and I zoom out, and those are the things I was thinking about. But it was sort of looking at the rug, thinking about line, thinking about the horizontal nature of the designs, and just going from there.
For me, my piece is, I used to, a while back ago, was doing drawings of Wigbitas, the very fine lines used in looming on. But I stepped away from that, and this piece brought me back to it. And so in a lot of my pieces, I incorporate the 4 directions, so the elements, fire, water, air, and earth. And so those are always very important to me to include in my paintings, and a lot of times in my photography. So this one really was a homage to my ancestors and to this moment that we're in now, and very much a homage to my grandmother, who has been the matriarch of my family. And so it was a really intense piece to do. And at the same time that I was working on this piece, my grandmother was very ill, and my uncle had just passed away. So all of that emotion that I had was really put into this piece. And yeah, that's what came out.
When I
when I did my first solo show, the curator, Adrian Rivas, I took the pieces of art that I had created, so we were picking mats and frames for it to go in the gallery space, and he grabs my bag. I had like one of those, I always carry one of those recycle bags because I have 20 bag, I'm a bag lady. So then he grabs it and he puts the painting on top of it, and it was funny because it kind of went along with the colors in the painting. So then I started like doing paintings on bags and having them framed in shadow boxes. So this when people see this bag that know my artwork, they go, oh, that's totally you. I like the timelessness of an icon that you can't tell when it was done, and I try to create that in my work so that I try not to pick colors that are poppy or of a particular time. I wouldn't have picked that orange there. That was picked by Joe, but you know, it's okay to do something out of your comfort zone, because to me that orange represents like 80s, you know, with the peach. But I like the way it came out. So this is my homage to recycling. I heard yesterday a statistic that the people on Earth that are most into recycling are Hispanics that are into caring about the Earth, which I find really interesting. And the reason they said it was, or it is because we're very communal. We're not about thinking about ourselves as individuals all the time, but about thinking about community and how we work with each other. So I go, that's very interesting, because that's how I was raised and how I think. So that's what my bag represents.
Mine comes from a sense of, first of all, the grid. Oh no, that's not mine. Okay, this will help for you to be able to see it. Thinking about, I've always thought about textiles as being about time, and I started making textiles when I was 5, and knitting, and you know, a little 5-year-old sitting knitting a sweater, you know, takes a long time of attention. But I just love that kind of rhythmic marking of time, and it's become part of my, I think, my metabolism in a sense. And so this whole piece is about time, and also about the difference of marking time in, say, Western culture and Eastern culture, in that in Western culture it's more about linear time. And yet there's so many myths in the history of textiles about the warp and the weft. So there's a background of a grid there, but it's actually from a sisal washcloth where there are 4 salvages. And in weaving, it's a very specific kind of weaving to weave 4 salvages at one time. Usually there's warp ends and there's loose ends that you have to tie back in. And that's from a washcloth that has all 4 salvages around the edge. So the line is continuous. It goes vertically and it goes horizontally. And part of the mythology about weaving is that the vertical threads are man and the horizontal the vertical threads are God and the horizontal threads are man, or it's man, woman. And so it's this profound unity of the two where they come together in the cross. So that's what the background's about. And then the coiled, it's from a Hopi plaque. It's from a corn ritual. And it's kind of it's a spiral, which is in my work often, which relates to that kind of quality of starting and moving through and then starting over again and then moving around through and starting over again, of the kind of cyclical time. That's why it's called sagas, which are the horizontal time of linear time, and then the raga, which is a Sanskrit Indian idea of time through birth, life, death, reincarnation, birth, life, death, reincarnation. And these are sort of souls swimming across it. So it relates to my work. Long story. Thank you, Carol.